Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Laugh Pig Kitchen. I'm Laura, and we're doing quarantine cuisine, how to make do with what we've got, or what we can get a hold of in these crazy times. So welcome back. We did beans a little bit ago. My beans are still cooking. They smell magnificent. They're going to be great. So today we're doing must-goes. And my mother was the one that came up with that term. Was at least once a week we would have must-goes, whatever's in the fridge that is getting past its prime or really needs to be used. We have a meal of must-goes, and we just get creative with our must-goes and do the best we can with them. My must-goes are probably going to be a little different from yours, but hopefully this will give you at least a couple of ideas of, oh, hey, maybe I can do something with that. And like I had mentioned in our previous video, I would venture a guess that a lot of us stocked up our fridge and stocked up our pantry for the global pandemic that we're experiencing. And we didn't bother cleaning some of the old stuff out before we put the new stuff in. So I went going through my refrigerator because the pantry pretty much just has non-perishable stuff in it. So that stuff's not going to go bad. But the fresh stuff in the fridge, is not going to last forever. And I think we've all been guilty from time to time of buying a bunch of fresh vegetables, salad makings and stuff, going, I'm going to cook healthier this week. And then 2 weeks later, you've got a bunch of limp, soggy vegetables that you really can't do anything with in the bottom of your crisper. I think that's happened to all of us. But we're going to try to get better about that. And before we really get going on this, I do want to throw out the common sense disclaimer of know when your food is usable and when it's not. I'm not taking moldy, slimy stuff that's been sitting for a month and a half in the bottom of my crisper and trying to make something out of it. I'm not pulling 3 week ago tuna casserole that was left over that I found in the back of my fridge, or something that's got a little bit something fuzzy growing on it. We're not doing any of that. No, but use your common sense. Know when your food is good and still usable, and know when it's not. If you don't know, if there's a question, it's probably better to compost it, throw it out. If you got chickens and ducks like we do, they love a lot of that stuff. So anyhow, here's what I found lurking in the back of my fridge and in the bottom of my crispers that we're going to use today to make the rest of my family's dinner for tonight to go along with those wonderful beans that are cooking over there. So in one crisper, I found 2 small golden beets that were starting to get a little soft. They've been in there for a couple of weeks. I peeled them and diced them. 1 good-sized red beet that was hanging out with the golden beets, and I peeled and diced that. These were a little half package of petite rainbow carrots that I've just sliced long ways or halved long ways, just so they're a little bit smaller so they'll cook a little bit easier. And these guys are going to become oven roasted root vegetables. So let me show you what we're going to do with those. I need a bowl to put them in. And here's another cool spoon of mine. My friend Celia, hi Celia, I love you, does wood burning. She's an artist, and one of the many things she does is wood burning. And she made me a little duck spoon to go with my ducks. So this is one of my fun things I have from her. I'm putting all of these root vegetables in a bowl. Olive oil. This is a really good use. Oven roasted vegetables is a really great use for olive oil. Now, again, I'm not measuring. That's probably 2 tablespoons-ish. You want it to be enough to kind of really, you want all the vegetables to have a little light coating of olive oil on them. You don't want them super duper greasy, but it looks like about a tablespoon, a little more, did this just fine. And I'm going to use a little salt and pepper to season. I'm a salty gal. I do like my salt. And we're going to do a little pepper, grind a little pepper in there. And I'm kind of feeling in the mood for some rosemary with my roasted my oven roasted root vegetables. So here's little dried rosemary because I'm too lazy to walk out back and harvest some fresh because it's raining again outside today. They said maybe we'll get a couple of days of sunshine here in Knoxville this week. I'm really ready for the sun to shine again. It's just been raining forever. I think they told last night on our local news or local weather that we are already here in the middle of March, halfway to our average precipitation for the year in Knoxville already. Okay, all I've done is stirred my salt and pepper and my rosemary in with my olive oil and my root vegetables. And they're going to go on a baking sheet. And we're going to kind of spread them out. You don't want them all piled up on top of each other or they're not going to roast very well. So kind of spread them out. Give them a little room to stretch. For your little vegetables to stretch. So there they are. This is going to be a beautiful dish of oven roasted vegetables. When I get ready for dinner, when we get a little closer to dinner, these are going to go in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes or so. That usually gives me a little bit of al dente, a little bit of crisp texture left in these vegetables. If you want them to get softer, then go, 40-45 minutes if you want your vegetables a little softer. It's really smart to, a couple times through your oven roasting, open up the oven, take a fork, and at least just, push on your vegetables and see if they're getting tender. But usually about the 30-minute mark at 400 degrees, unless I have great big chunks of vegetables, that usually does the trick. So that's what's going to happen with these guys. For now, I'm going to set them over there. Here's some of what else I found in the crispers. This is a part of a nice little orange pepper, part of a package of fresh asparagus, and part of a package of baby broccoli. So those were hanging out in there. What seemed like a good thing to do with them? Well, here's someone's phone ringing down the hall. We made that rice yesterday, and I ended up with 2 containers of rice because I made some before and made some after. So I've got 2 extra containers of rice. So I thought, why not saute these vegetables and put them with some rice? Oh, I found some cheese, some grated cheese that was left over from taco night the other night. And I found part of a package of potato chips that were getting stale-ish. So I just crunched them up. Those are going to become the top of a little rice, cheese, and sauteed vegetable casserole that we're going to throw in the oven. And the other guy I found, I forgot this little guy was in here. This is a Romanesco cauliflower. It's green. It's supposed to be green. But is that thing not just like a cool little work of art? The design on these are just so awesome. I'm going to be pulling, the little clusters off of this, separating them, and it's just going to get steamed, just like you would steam broccoli or cauliflower. It's going to get steamed this evening and perhaps have a little balsamic glaze drizzled over it. So, why don't we get busy with this right here, because I didn't go ahead and prep all of this, because I keep prepping everything and y'all don't actually see me slicing or dicing anything. So, here, you get a little experiential slicing and dicing this afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's hanging in there with this craziness that's going on. It's like everybody's different. We are becoming present moment humans because we're really unable to do much planning. It's hard to plan for the future when you don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next day. There, that was easy. Cut up that pepper there. And I'm not going to do a whole lot with these. I'm not going to cut them up super duper small because these vegetables, unlike the root vegetables that tend to be harder and they last longer and all, these vegetables are a little more watery, a little more liquid, and they cook a little quicker. So that's why I'm not oven roasting these like I'm doing the root vegetables, because these will saute quickly, and we're going to make a little casserole out of them. Speaking of, let's turn I've got a big skillet here that I'm going to turn just below medium on the flame and let that start heating up. And I'm just, with this baby broccoli too, I'm just kind of chopping it into bite-sized portions. There it goes. Broccoli and cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, things like that have a lot of sulforaphane in them. Something that's really, really good for our body. It comes from these delicious cruciferous vegetables that it's so hard to get some people to eat. I don't like them. You know what? They may not be my mouth's absolute favorite thing in the world, but it sure does make my body happy to eat these things. So that's what I remind my child of quite often, is it's not always about making your mouth and brain happy. Sometimes it's about making your belly and your body happy. And some of the things that may not be your favorite for your brain and your mouth are actually really, really good for your body. I'm using olive oil to saute this in. And again, we talked about a low smoke point with olive oil, so you don't want to turn your skillet up sky high on the heat, because your olive oil is just going to start smoking and it's going to smell bad and it's going to make your food taste bad. So, better to cook it slowly than to make it taste yucky. Guess what? I have more minced garlic. Always have minced garlic. Goes with everything. That's going to go in here first. Let's find a spoon. Here's a new one, sort of a spoon, kind of a wooden spatula. This came from Costa Rica. Anytime a tree falls or washes up on the beach or whatever down there, it doesn't stay very long. It gets made into furniture, it gets made into utensils, you name it. So this is, I believe this was mango wood from a mango tree that this one's made out of. All right, we're getting our garlic going here, which, immediately smells fabulous. And let's see, let's go ahead and throw all this in. It's not going to take this stuff very long to cook at all. Let's see if I can get it all in without spilling it out of the skillet. Yes, there we go. All right, I'm going to throw just a little bit of salt on this. That kind of helps kind of get the juices out of these good yummy vegetables as they start cooking. And this is going to go in the oven really just to warm it up good and melt the cheese that we're going to put in there. I will probably put this in a 350 degree oven for, I don't know, 25 or 30 minutes maybe. Or, since my oven's going to be at 400 for my roasted vegetables, if I need to put them in at the same time, I can do that too and probably leave them in there for, 20 minutes or so. Something like that. All right. Here we are. Let's see what else I found. I found a part of a carton of whipping cream. And I do love cooking with this. It just, if you need a little bit of creaminess in a dish, it doesn't take very much of it. So we're going to put a little bit of cream in with our cheese and our rice. And we're going to stir it all together. And we're going to put it in a baking dish, which is over there. Here it is. Here's our baking dish that we're going to put all of this in when it's about done cooking. That smells pretty freaking delicious too. Love it. And I was shouting out to some people that I know from Arkansas in my last video, and I remembered that there were several more that had talked to me. I'm sorry if I'm missing people. But one in particular I want to say hi to, one of the most beautiful women that I've ever met in my life. Missy Henson, I love you, Missy. You're so awesome. Missy is my 83-year-old mother's hairdresser. She went to school with us. She was about my older sister's age. And I remember as a child just being in freaking awe of how beautiful this girl was. And she just always has been, inside and out. So thanks, Missy, for saying hi. Appreciate what good care you take of my mama. So hi to everybody from my Arkansas home out there. And hi to all of my new people that happen to be watching. Hey. All right. This stuff is starting to get soft. And again, if you like your casseroles, your vegetable casseroles, real super soft and tender, well, you cook this a little bit longer and it's going to get really nice and soft. I want a little bit of texture in it. Not so much al dente crunch, but just a little bit of texture. So I'm not going to overdo this. I'm going to leave the heat on as I'm mixing everything else in, and that's going to cook it just a little bit more. This is my bowl of rice. This was our rice we made yesterday. And am I going to use all of it? Why not? Yeah, we're going to use all of it. There goes our rice. You sit right there. Do I want to stir the cheese in? You know what? I think I'm going to wait till right before we put it in here because, and that's really just a self-serving reason, because if I put it in now, some of it's going to get stuck to the bottom of that pan and then I'm going to have to clean it. I'm going to wait just a second. And I'm going to wait on the cream. Let's stir the rice in. If you have Muscos at your house, in your fridge, that are very different from my Muscos and you have no idea what to do with them, shoot me a little comment. You know, here's what I have, and I have no idea what to do with these. Can you help me out? If I can help you out, I'll be happy to. If I have no idea what to do with your Muscos, I'll say, I'm sorry, I have no idea what to do with your Muscos. It will force you to get creative, won't it? All right. That is great. I'm going to add just a hair more salt because I know I didn't salt my rice really heavy. And let's grab this fork. Give it a taste. Oh yeah, that's going to work just fine. I'm turning my heat off. I'm pouring my cheese in. And I'm going to give it a little dollop of cream. Probably, that was probably between a quarter and a half a cup. Somewhere in there. Now let's stir all that together. We don't want it super juicy. You don't want it runny. But having just a little bit of creamy texture in there will keep it from feeling dry. It's going to be great. My family's going to say, what in the world did you do? This is wonderful. I'm going to make it just a little bit more juicy. And there wasn't that much cream left in there anyway. So hey. We used up some cream. No more Muscos there. Okay. Let's see what kind of a mess I'm going to make with this. Into the baking dish it goes. The whole business. The whole business right there. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There we go. I'm just going to even it out. Boom. Here's my potato chip crumbs. This is going to go on top and give us a nice little crisp, salty crust on top. Who says you can't make a casserole? Sure you can. Make it up. Make it up as you go. That's part of the fun of it. All right. Take a look at that. That's, again, I'm going to go in the oven with that for either at 350 for about 30 minutes or so, or if my root vegetables are roasting at 400, I'll put it in on the 400 degree oven for about 20 minutes or so, and just keep an eye on it. You don't want to burn your stuff. And like I said, I'm just going to separate these little flowerets of our Romanesco cauliflower, and I'm just going to steam them. So we have oven roasted root vegetables. We have an impromptu rice and vegetable and cheese topped with potato chip crumbs. Casserole. We have our Romanesco cauliflower, and we're going to have our pinto beans. And that's going to be a really nice dinner tonight, made from stuff that really needed to go anyway. So how about that? Hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks again for tuning in to Quarantine Cuisine. I'm having fun with this. I hope y'all are having fun too. Godspeed to everybody. Hang in there. We're doing great. We're going to make it through this. Peace out, people.